Welcome back to the Frank Shitter Show. This is Ghana to the world, Ghana to the Wiase. So far, we've learned about some history. We learned how Ghana got its name, how Ghana got its flag. We've learned about the geographical location of Ghana, and we've also learned about the climate and so on and so forth. Now, we're going to be learning about Ghana's economy. Ghana's economy. Ghana practices a mixed economy, which means it's a capitalist nation, but heavily influenced by government. And hopefully, the latter will be less, but create platforms to motivate people to acquire skills, especially vocational skills, and also venture into entrepreneurship, into production as well, to invest. Ghanaians are usually, shy when it comes to risks. We try to avoid them as much as possible, and this is not good for the nation. So Ghana produces 16% of the world global cocoa beans, and instead of processing most of them, we ship them out in the raw form. And the value of the cocoa, the value chain, is more in the finished or semi-processed form than in the raw form. So we don't get as much revenue as we should, when it comes to the cocoa beans. The same goes to the gold. Ghana was known as the Gold Coast, Same goes to the gold. We ship them mostly in their raw form. We don't refine as much as we need to. And the same goes for the timber, the oil that we also produce, and all the other natural resources. We should note that this shipping of the things to Europe and the Americas was first started by the colonial masters, and they trained us to be shipping the things out. When you look at how the railway system, the transportation system that they first mapped out, was for us to be feeding their industries with the raw materials, and they add the value to it. And it's about time that Ghana and most other African countries do the same. We know, but the implementation of it has been too slow. I rhymed. Ghanaians indulge in trade more than producing because it's maybe in our D.N.A. I don't know, because Ghanaians, their ethnic groups have been trading since the old Ghana Empire was founded mostly by trading states, and we are still buying and selling instead of producing. I hope that Ghanaians will be more bold when it comes to investment opportunities, so that we invest more in production, because it's even found its way into our agricultural system or industry. Our agricultural industry, we don't produce as much as we need to. I was talking with a man from Saudi Arabia, and he was commending Ghana that at least Ghana has arable lands to produce food. And unfortunately, we do not produce as much food as we can, because people are not investing even in the agricultural sectors like we should, to produce at least the basic necessities like food. This will help us, at least the dollar to be more stable, because if we're importing things like food as well as other processed stuff, then we are actually shipping out, that it's gonna affect us in terms of the dollar, right? That's why when the global economy dips, Ghana and other countries like Ghana's economy dips further, because we're gonna be spending more dollars than we are receiving, and that is the case. Now let's talk a little bit about sports. I want to first talk about Trey Manbora. Trey Horn. His name suggests his name is German, right? And he's a white American residing in Ghana in Nalerigu, and he and his family speak fluent Mampruli, and they first visited Ghana in 2007 and settled permanently in 2014. His dad is a photographer and his mom is a surgeon, right? And it's beautiful to see these white Americans who have, I like to say white a lot, Yeah, I'm usually very racial conscious. It's a beautiful thing for me. The diversity is beautiful, right? Instead of it being a conversation of strife, I actually embrace it because, I see color. We're all different and it's beautiful. So it's beautiful to see that these white Americans have relocated from the United States to settle permanently in Ghana, and they've made their home in the northeastern part of Ghana. Beautiful thing. So in 2019, Trey and his family visited America, the land of their birth. They visited America, and unfortunately, because of in 2020, Ghana closed its borders. And during that period, his dad learned unicycling and taught it to his son, who is Trey. So William taught it to Trey, and Trey became good at it. In 2020 September, Ghana opened up its borders again, and Trey and his family were able to move back home to Ghana. So they are natural residents of Ghana at the moment that we speak. So like I said, I'm delighted in his race. So I want to talk about his race, but not his complexion though, but his unicycling race. So Trey actually participated in the 2022 World Unicycling Championship, and he cycled under the flag of Ghana, in the name of Ghana. So he represented Ghana, and I think he was rocking something like this, right? The retro jersey. And he stood in for Ghana, not the United States. And he won 2 medals for Ghana in the World Unicycling Championship in 2022. The first one he won was 3rd place in the 1 foot race. So the 1 foot race, you put 1 foot on the pedal. You only pedal with 1 foot, and you unicycle a wheel, right? And then you just paddle with 1 foot. So he won bronze, and he won a silver medal for Ghana. Manbora! He won it in the wheel walk race. So in the wheel walk race, instead of using the pedal, you put your feet on the wheel and push the wheel with your 2 feet. And that he won silver medal, and it's beautiful. He brought a lot of honor to the Mamprogu kingdom, and they also honored him back. He's one of their own. And let's move on. So the fun facts about Ghana. A person from Ghana is known as a Ghanaian, not a Ghanan or a Ghanese. I had a conversation with a woman from Guyana, and she said that mostly people confuse Guyana for Ghana when she tells them that she's from Guyana. And I said, oh, the same thing happens to me sometimes. When I tell people I'm from Ghana, they think I'm Guyanese. But Guyanese is people from Guyana, and people from Ghana are called Ghanaian, not Ghanan. I understand the honest mistake that some of you do. It's cool, but now you know better, right? And in Ghana, we respect our elders a lot. We show it, when you speak to an elder, you show respect. I've had 2 calls from my friends in Ghana who didn't know that you don't even ask an older person or an elderly person, how are you? So it's not cultured to ask that question, because it's condescending. That's how they see it. You can say it's an ego thing, but that's our culture. So they don't even know. So they ask you, how are you doing? And you respond, you don't ask them back. You can say that, I hope everything is well with you, and it's cool. Just read the room. Some older people would not get offended, but some would. So we need to know that. And in Ghana, another interesting fact is everyone knows the date that they were born, the day of the week that they were born. Not the date, but the day of the week. So for instance, I'm Kwesi, born on a Sunday. People don't call me that often. Everybody calls me Frank, but yeah, so everyone knows the day they were born. So Monday, Tuesday, from Sunday to Sunday, right? And I cover that in the episode naming, where I talk about our culture when it comes to naming, our traditions, right? So that is that. And the official language in Ghana is English. After the British, we speak English because they were our last colonial masters. So, anyway, heavily influenced by the British system, Ghana. So our official language is English, but Twi is widely spoken, and Twi, or the Akan language, Twi. Most people can say, people say Twi. Even in Ghana, most non-native speakers will say Twi. Americans sometimes say Chi. They struggle, but yeah, it's Twi. Anyway, because it's TW, the W has an accent, and I, so it's like you blowing a whistle. So the most popular language in Ghana is Twi. Remember I said the Akan ethnic group are the largest, 47.5% of a population of about 30 million. And that plays into the fact that Twi is widely spoken because Twi is the major language in the Akan ethnic group. The other is Fanti, which are very fewer. The Akans, for instance, the major ethnic tribe in the Akans is the Ashanti or the Asante tribe, and they are about 10 million. So, it plays into the dynamic of the cultural relationships in Ghana. So almost everyone in Ghana can understand and speak Twi. So there were some people who were for Ghana to change the official language from English to Twi, but I don't think that will be favorable because that is going to give the major tribe more influence and power in a sense. And it's okay. Let's just speak English and speak Twi. No need to make Twi an official language. It's already widely spoken, but Ghana is not China. Okay, this is okay. Let's move on. Also, we speak Pidgin English, and I like to differentiate between Pidgin English and Broken English because of how Pidgin English is. So for instance, Broken English, right, is a type of Creole, just like Pidgin English, and it's a corrupted form of the English language. We add some local slangs and local words to it. So I am going will be like I dey go. They go. So when you put the day there, you don't say going, you don't conjugate the go. So it's they go means I'm going. So Broken English is just you butchering the English language because you can't speak it, right? But Pidgin English is mostly spoken by literates, right? When I was growing up, you only learn Pidgin English when you go to high school. Some also learned it when they went to college, right? So it's spoken by people who are literates. Because of that, it has a different grammatical rules and stuff like that. So it's easy to say it and say it wrongly if you didn't go to high school and college in Ghana. Now, most of the young people, because of media, have learned it, even though they've not gone to the senior high school yet. But that was the case. So I like to differentiate between the two. One is very organized, which is the Pidgin English, and the Broken English is just speaking the way you go, like a machine gun. Anyway, so in Ghana, a popular phrase it will be akwaba. Akwaba means welcome, welcome. And we also say Charlie a lot. Charlie means my friend, my friend. So Charlie, but you don't say my Charlie. It's wrong. Just say Charlie. It's more, to refer to someone. So you can say, Charlie, what's up? Charlie, come see something. Charlie, eteseng. Eteseng is a popular Twi phrase, which means, how are you doing? It literally translates, how is it going, right? And to eteseng, you respond, yeah, yeah, yeah. So eteseng, yeah. Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. Now let's talk about food in Ghana. The Ghanaian diet. Before I go on, it's important to note that during the contact with the Europeans, especially the Portuguese, later on, America was discovered, and the Portuguese, sailed from Portugal to the Americas and to West Africa, from West Africa to back to the Americas, or from West Africa to Portugal or Europe. So that triangular, root was very popular, and because of that, they brought from the Americas a lot of the varieties of crops there to be grown in Ghana, in the Gold Coast. So most of our crops are heavily influenced by the Portuguese, bringing these crops from the Americas. We also have variants or varieties of the crops in the Americas, but ours are usually not as tasty or not as beautiful, pleasing to the eye, the size and stuff, because the Americas is or are whatever. The Americas is very blessed when it comes to crops, food stuff. It's very, theirs are usually bigger. So in Ghana, we say, for instance, oh, this plantain is the forest plantain. Those were the indigenous ones that we had. And so things like tomatoes, plantains, bananas and even sugar cane. Most of them were brought from the Americas. I don't know about sugar cane. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, so the crops that we don't have local names for instance, tomatoes, you get it. We still have wild tomatoes. Yeah, we say the forest tomatoes, stuff like that. Cassava, yuca, maybe some yams. It goes on and on. But the popular street food we have in Ghana is gobe. Gobe is Ghanaian beans. So most of our ingredients are just like what they eat in Asia and also in the Americas and Central and Southern America, because we kind of have the same climate, so we grow similar stuff. So for instance, a lot of the Southern Central American countries eat a lot of plantains, platano or platano macho, right? And we also eat plantains. We like to eat the plantains by, frying it and eating it with beans. In Ghana, beans include black-eyed peas. If you go to the market and you want black-eyed peas, just say beans. They'll ask you which one, point to the black-eyed peas. Don't go say, I want to buy black-eyed peas. They'll be looking at you. Like, anyway, so another popular street food is wache. Wache, rice and beans, cooked together. We got it from the Hausa people, but we cook it better than the Hausa people in Nigeria. Our Hausa people cook better because Kenyans cook better than Nigerians, yeah. And we also have jollof, Ghana jollof, to differentiate from the Nigerian jollof, because we don't want to associate our jollof with the Nigerians. But I watched Migrationology's video, and he has a series of clips from Senegal, and the way they cook their jollof. I'm from Ghana, but I humbly, concede to the Senegalese. Their jollof, even the time and all the ingredients and the process they put into the jollof is just, respectable. Anyway, we also have fufu, pounded cassava with pounded plantain. It kind of has an off-white color because the cassava or the yuca is usually white, and the plantain has a dark yellow color. So that is fufu for you. And we usually eat it with soup. And we have TZs from the north and from the Hausa people. And, in every Ghanaian home, there is shito. If you ever visit a Ghanaian home and there's no shito, probably in a Nigerian home or a Liberian home, not a Ghanaian home. Shito is a condiment, is a type of chili sauce, made from grounded chili peppers and grounded shrimp, grounded dried fish. You can even add some chunks of meat to it, and all of it is fried with seasoning of your own preference. You can even add honey to, add a little bit of sweetness to it. It's your preference, but shito goes with anything. That's why I say put that shito on anything. That's why this show is named after shito, because shito is universal. Shito saves lives. So let's talk about sports. I mentioned the unicycling, but it's not very popular in Ghana. The most popular sports in Ghana is football, what the Americans call soccer. why are they confusing the world with soccer? Now it's kind of hard, especially when you're from outside the United States. In the United States, it's like you say football and then they be like, are you talking about soccer? When you say soccer, they'll be like, oh, football. You guys say football. You see, it's causing a lot of confusion. Let's just stick with football. But anyway, Ghana, it's football is major in Ghana. It's our number one sports. Also, we have boxing, and we have someone like Azuma Nelson, who is a World Boxing Hall of Famer, and his ancestry is Brazilian. In Ghana, we have a lot of people who are of Afro-Brazilian descent. I covered that in the Brazilian episode. This one is Ghana to the world. So we have that. Boxing and football are two major sports, and we have other sports. They're not as big, and Ghanaians are more reserved, and I wish that we'll be more vocal to voice our opinions, especially when we're discontented. Just let the person know that you don't like what is going on. It's not always peaceful to just shut up, and so far the newer generation is being more vocal, and it's good. Let's express ourselves more, show people what we think. If we like it, let's say we like it. If we don't, say we don't. That's why they dip the liquor on our tongues when we were born, to show us that this is liquor, this is water. When you see liquor, say it's liquor. When you see water, say it's water. Right. And I hope that Ghanaians will participate more in production. Like I said, this is the Frank Shitter Show, and I hope by now you kind of have a fair knowledge of who a Ghanaian is, what Ghana means to us, and you're free to visit Ghana anytime. Hit me up in my email, comegetfrank@gmail.com. You can also follow me on all the social media platforms as Come Get Frank or Come G Frank. Usually Come Get Frank will get you there. And leave any comments, like it, just tell me what you think. Let me know what you think about Ghana to the world, and if you have any questions, shoot me an email or comment. Also, like and subscribe, because I'm going to be pushing out a lot of content about culture for your enjoyment. So this is another episode. Thank you for sticking with me. Before I leave, don't forget to put that shit on anything. Catch me again in other episodes.